Explosions rocked Doha on September 9th, not in Gaza, not in Damascus, but in the Qatari capital itself. Within minutes, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared, "Israel acted alone. Israel takes full responsibility." The strike killed Hamas figures and a Qatari security officer in the heart of a US ally that hosts America's largest base in the region. Analysts call it reckless, unprecedented, and a direct challenge to Washington. Qatar, long a mediator in the Gaza war, now finds itself a battlefield. Israel had no intention of covering up its involvement in the September 9th attack on Doha. Within minutes of the explosions being heard in the Qatari capital, Israeli officials were claiming responsibility in the media. And not long after, taking full responsibility for the attack in Doha, Qatar, targeting Hamas leadership. In a statement on social media, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said Israel acted alone in its attack on Doha.
Today's action against the top terrorist chieftains of Hamas was a wholly independent Israeli operation. Israel initiated it, Israel conducted it, and Israel takes full responsibility.
The attack marks yet another escalation by Israel, the latest in a series that has included launching a war against Iran, occupying more land in Syria, killing the leadership of the Lebanese group Hezbollah, and the killing of more than 64,500 Palestinians in the Gaza Strip since its war there began. But this attack marks a new frontier in what Israel believes it can get away with. A direct attack on a United States ally, Qatar, who hosts the largest US military base in the region. Myrav Zonzon, the International Crisis Group's senior Israel analyst, speaking to Al Jazeera, said,
"We've seen that Israel fires in crowded and residential areas and in capitals across the Middle East as it pleases. And it continues to do so, and will continue to do so, if no one takes serious action to stop it. I don't think, analytically speaking, that Israel would carry out any such attack without an American green light. If America indeed did not give a green light, we should be hearing condemnation coming any minute. The Trump administration needs to condemn this behavior by its client, Israel, while ceasefire negotiations are going on."
Cinzia Bianco, a visiting fellow at the European Council on Foreign Relations, said,
Israel's previous attacks around the world meant the Qataris knew that they were not completely off limits, but obviously no one anticipated a direct attack. And just the defiance and unhinged recklessness of it surprised, I would say, everyone.
Israel has so far received little pushback for its actions from the US, both under current President Donald Trump and former President Joe Biden. In the first comments from the White House on the attack, a statement from Trump said that while the US had been informed of the attack, Israel had carried out the attack unilaterally. The statement added that the attack did not advance Israeli or American goals, but that hitting Hamas was a worthy goal. Meanwhile, Qatar has long had a role as a regional and international mediator, keeping good relations with both the United States and Iran. While it does not have relations with Israel, Qatar has hosted Israeli negotiators for ceasefire talks since the start of the war in October 2023, and has previously coordinated with Israel over providing aid to Gaza before the war. Abdullah Ali-Mahdi, a writer and journalist based in Doha, told Al Jazeera,
Qatar is one of the countries that is trying the hardest to calm the situation in Gaza and bring both parties out of the current war. But Israel has not recognized these efforts. Qatar will seek to mobilize international public opinion to pressure Israel to submit and respect the sovereignty of states.
But Qatar has begun to be dragged into the regional violence, with an attack from Iran on the US base at Al Udeid in June, which Iran emphasized was not directed at Qatar, and now the Israeli attack in Doha. Ali-Mahdi believes that Qatar will attempt to draw more international attention to the Israeli regime's violations of all international laws and conventions at the United Nations General Assembly meeting in a few days. Analysts added that regional states needed to come together to push back against Israel. With all its negotiations efforts to bring peace to the Middle East, Qatar has hosted Hamas's political office since 2012, which now Israel is calling out and using to justify their direct attack on the US ally. The Gulf nation of Qatar has long served as a mediator, both in the Middle East and further afield. The country has good relations with nations that oppose each other and therefore serves as a location where conversations can happen between adversaries. The presence of many leaders from the Palestinian group Hamas in Doha has meant that the city has become a base for negotiations to end Israel's war on Gaza and secure the release of Israeli captives held in the enclave. But that looks like it is in jeopardy following Israel's attack on several Hamas leaders in Doha on September 9th. Now the question arises, why are those leaders based in Qatar? And what is Qatar's relationship with the Palestinian movement? Hamas first opened its political office in Qatar in 2012, after leaders, including Khaled Meshal, left Syria a year after the war in that country began. However, Qatari officials have repeatedly said that the decision to host the Hamas leadership came after a request from the United States. In a 2023 opinion piece for the Wall Street Journal, the Qatari ambassador to the US, Sheikh Meshal bin Hamad Al Thani, said,
Washington wanted the office to establish indirect lines of communication with Hamas.
Various senior Hamas leaders are based in Qatar or have been based there as a result of the opening of the Hamas office. The previously mentioned Meshal, who is the former head of Hamas's political bureau and who himself survived a 1997 Israeli assassination attempt in Jordan, moved to Qatar in 2012 and has been based there since. According to Al Jazeera, Zaher Jabarin is believed to have been a target of Israel's attack. He currently serves as Hamas's chief financial administrator. In 1993, Israel arrested Jabarin and sentenced him to life imprisonment. He spent almost 2 decades in prison before being released in 2011 as part of a prisoner exchange. Following his release, Jabarin rose quickly through Hamas's ranks. He became head of the group's financial bureau, managing and overseeing an extensive investment and funding network. He currently also heads Hamas in the occupied West Bank and is one of the 5 members of the Leadership Council. Those killed in the strike include Jihad Labad, director of Al-Haya's office, Humam Al-Haya, his son, and 3 bodyguards, Abdullah Abdul Wahid, Muamin Hasuna, and Ahmed Al-Mamluk. The 6th person killed, according to Qatar, was Corporal Badr Saad Mohammed Al-Humaydi Al-Dosari, a member of the Internal Security Force, Laquia.